Washington Commanders quarterback Taylor Heinicke has taken to the air, saying he's a different player than last season. Now he'll get a chance to prove just how much. Do you think so much has changed about him? Has he improved to be a better player than he used to be? I guess it is left for him to convince us through his actions, and not just his words. Notwithstanding, let's have the news in detail. Make sure you stick with me to the end of the video. What was the problem with Heinicke's output last year? Why didn't he deliver? When Heinicke starts against the Green Bay Packers on Sunday, he can draw upon his 2021 experience when he started 15 games for the injured Ryan Fitzpatrick. He'll start for Carson Wentz, who fractured his right ring finger. Heinicke made it known that he feels a lot more comfortable, a lot more confident. He stated he was a little overwhelmed last year, as it was his first time starting 15 games, which, as expected, gets to you a little bit. It's still unclear how long Wentz will not be actively involved. He remained in Los Angeles this week to rehab his finger after having surgery on Monday night. The Commanders hope to know by Friday whether or not he'll need to be placed on injured reserve, which means he would miss at least 4 games. Until Wentz returns, Heinicke will start. His first one comes up against the team he grew up cheering for, thanks to his father's Wisconsin roots. Heinicke said one of his last memories with his late father involved watching Green Bay's Super Bowl victory after the 2011 season. It made last year's game at Lambeau Field special for Heinicke. It'll also provide more juice for this start. Heinicke recalled that to go to Lambeau last year was super neat, and to get that first start this year against Green Bay at home is going to be super cool. Washington has struggled at quarterback for decades, which hasn't changed under coach Ron Rivera. This is the 9th time Washington made an in-season quarterback change, whether because of ineffectiveness or injuries. It's the 3rd time Heinicke has come off the bench to start. The hope for Washington is that Heinicke can spark an offense that has struggled the last 4 games. After scoring a combined 55 points in the first 2 games, the Commanders managed just 47 in the next 4. Wentz was under duress because of pass protection issues and was still adjusting to a new offense, but Heinicke's mobility could at least help. He rushed for 313 yards last season, including 95 in a 24-10 loss at Green Bay. Wentz has a stronger arm and more size, but couldn't extend plays this season. Wentz was sacked 23 times. Heinicke was sacked 38 times in 2021. Washington receiver Terry McLaurin said his ability to extend plays is big for them. The heart he plays with, a lot of guys galvanize behind that. You never know what you'll get with Taylor, and that's the fun part. He added that he is a guy who you have confidence in his ability to make plays. It may not be the prettiest or what you're used to every Sunday. He's playing like it is backyard football, but playing within himself. Heinicke also said that he had noticed a difference in his arm strength. That had long been the knock on Heinicke, but after working with quarterback trainer Adam Dedeau this past offseason, he has seen a change. They worked on using his hips more when he throws. McLaurin said, comparing his throws to last season, that the way he's driving the ball down the field is better for the receivers. Teammates have turned to him when they have questions about the offense, considering he has played for Washington since December 2020. He spent 1 year in this system in Carolina and another with Minnesota, but a large appeal to Heinicke remains his popularity with other players. During the open locker room sessions for the media, Heinicke is often sitting at his locker chatting with teammates. 2 years ago, it energized teammates when he came off the bench to spark the offense and lead a near upset of Tampa Bay in the playoffs. Defensive end Chase Young often pointed vigorously to Heinicke's name on the back of his jersey. Rookie receiver Jahan Dotson said that he always said he's the coolest quarterback in the room with the most swag. Rivera understands that appeal, as he added that the guys rally around anybody who will step up and compete and do what you need, which is that underdog story. Next up, the immediate future of the Commanders is in Taylor Heinicke's hands. Do you think that's the case? With Carson Wentz out, Washington looks to last year's starter, but what about the long term? The Washington Commanders announced that quarterback Carson Wentz underwent surgery to fix a broken finger in his throwing hand after the game against Chicago. He is expected to miss 4 to 6 weeks of the game. With QB1 out, there are no doubts that the team has to make some adjustments. They had 2 backups already listed on the roster, and they are no other than Tyler Heinicke and Sam Powell. Washington also signed Jake Fromm from the practice squad on October 18th. But how does this affect the long term? Is the QB depth for the Commanders as good as other teams around the league that have proven their backup can live up to expectations, like the Patriots' Bailey Zappa or the Cowboys' Cooper Rush? What does the future look like for this team and the picks they traded to acquire Wentz? Let's start with the immediate concern. Who gets the start in Week 7? The Commanders chose Heinicke. Some fans want to see the rookie Howell get the nod for his first NFL game, but football is a week-to-week sport. This means that the Commanders need to pick up a win to get off the bottom of the NFC East this week and worry about everything later. Due to the immediacy of the sport, Heinicke is the right choice, especially against against Green Bay? Or do you think otherwise? Let me know in the comment section. Last season, Heinicke started for Washington at Lambeau Field and ultimately lost 24-10, but he showed fans a few of his assets in the pocket, the main one being his ability to run and stay poised. Heinicke can use his legs to exploit a Packers defense that is especially weak at defending on the run. He had a 38-yard run a year ago against Green Bay, which is just under half of Wentz's run total all season thus far. In that game, Heinicke picked up 95 yards in that game alone, and had a pretty solid year in general last season before Wentz came along and got the starting gig. Let's not forget about Powell though. The 5th round draft pick out of the UNC led all QBs in the preseason this year, and in the college, he broke countless records for his program and the entire ACC. He is listed as the backup in the game this week, which is the right move. If Powell is the real deal, he is the future of this franchise and needs the time to grow into a top-level QB. This doesn't mean he isn't getting a snap all season. He will eventually see time, but the timing isn't right currently. And what about Jake Fromm? He joined the Commanders this season from the New York Giants, where he saw 2 starts and completed 27 of 60 passes. It is very unlikely he will get in this week or the foreseeable future, but he has regular season NFL experience. That could come in handy and give him the edge over Powell if Heinicke goes down in the future. But something else needs to be considered for the Commanders' quarterback situation. When they traded for Wentz, Washington got him and a 2022 second-round pick. Then Indianapolis got a 2022 second-round pick and 2 2023 third-round picks. One of those third-rounders is conditional, and it will later become a second round if Wentz plays more than 70% of games for Washington. Do they keep him out longer to ensure the Colts don't get a free second-round pick? Let's keep going. 70% of the games equates to 11 matchups. Wentz has already played in 5 games, and if he is out for the max estimate of 6 weeks, that brings the league to week 13. And then he has only 5 more weeks of the regular season, and week 14 is a bye for the Commanders, thereby putting him below the 11-game threshold. If he returns sooner, closer to the 4th week mark, the pick will likely become a second rounder. It will be interesting to see what the Commanders do about this, or if it is even a thought. But still, the Commanders will take it week to week. It's Heinicke's time for now, but it could all change throughout the season. This week's matchup will show the trajectory of the situation and what the quarterback core will need to work on for the foreseeable future. That concludes today's video. If you found the video helpful, please consider giving us a thumbs up, and don't forget to share the video with your friends and family. See you next time.